At the aforementioned dumpster fire known as CPAC, the president gave a rambling 2-hour marathon speech in which he described the Mueller investigation with a naughty word.
Unfortunately, you put the wrong people in a couple of positions, and they leave people for a long time that shouldn't be there, and all of a sudden, they're trying to take you out with bullshit, okay? With bullshit.
There might be a couple of things you find striking in that clip. First off, a sitting president cussed on stage. Not in a closed-door meeting, but on stage in front of at least 100 morons. Secondly, we didn't bleep it. If you've been watching TYT shows lately, you may have noticed that due to our distribution agreements, we can't typically broadcast such naughty words. But there is actually an exception for when that word is spoken by the president and thus becomes newsworthy. Let's take a moment to really dissect how insane that is, how incredibly crazy our world is right now, where I can't say something like, the president has turned the White House into a shithole, but I can say the president referred to certain countries as shitholes. Isn't that insane? I can't say the president's ramblings are complete and utter bullshit, but I can absolutely say the president referred to the Mueller investigation as bullshit. Trump's S-bomb is the latest in a long series of actions that, let's face it, would have disqualified politicians in the past. But in today's political world, it seems certain lawmakers can get away with it. Just how much have things changed in recent years? I went deep into the political vault to find out. Before I get into it though, this process was pretty frustrating. To be fair, politicians throughout the ages have done some pretty terrible things, but were able to maintain their careers. But still, there's a lot that Trump has done that should have definitely disqualified him, but hasn't. First up, temperament. Our president throws tantrum after tantrum, but keeps coming back. Believe it or not, there was a time when even a momentary outburst could cost you an entire political career. Just ask Howard Dean.
We're going to South Dakota and Oregon and Washington and Michigan, and then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House. Yeah!
Look, I feel like that's the way I would celebrate a victory, but look, it's worse when you look at it with that 2004 video quality. But how about the specific issue of a candidate taking aim at the press? Not a day goes by without Trump whining about how he's unfairly being treated by the media. He essentially paints himself as this weak and pathetic victim of bullying. Yet his voters still stick with him. I'd be embarrassed, but that doesn't seem to be a human emotion that the Trump base is capable of feeling. This wasn't always the case though. During the 1972 presidential election, a local newspaper column attacked candidate Ed Muskie of Maine and his wife, accusing him of, among other things, using an ethnic slur against French Canadians. I know, New England problems, am I right? Anyhow, Muskie was on track to win the New Hampshire primary by a landslide until this moment where he called out the man who ran the piece.
He's proved himself to be a gutless coward. Maybe I said all I should on that point. But it's fortunate for him he's not on this platform beside me. A good woman.
Wow, did you see that? No, you didn't, because nothing really happened by our standards today. At the time, the media called Muskie out for being too emotional. The Washington Post wrote he broke down 3 times in as many minutes. The Boston Globe wrote Muskie was weeping silently. Muskie still won the primary, but failed to meet expectations, and his campaign never recovered. Fast forward to today, and you'll find our president whimpers about fake news all the freaking time, yet somehow his base still thinks of him as this powerful alpha dog. It makes no sense. Now for something more substantive, like foreign policy. Is there anyone out there who truly believes that our president actually has a firm grasp of what's happening around the world? No, yet history is littered with the careers of politicians who were effectively disqualified when it was revealed that they might not know anything about the world.
So you agreed with President Obama on Libya or not?
Okay, Libya. What would you do if you were elected about Aleppo?
About
Aleppo.
And what is Aleppo?
You're kidding.
No.
Aleppo is in Syria. It's the epicenter of the refugee crisis.
Okay, got it. Got it.
Putin rears his head and comes into the airspace of the United States of America. Where do they go? It's Alaska. It's just right over the border.
Isn't it kind of shocking that Gary Johnson wasn't the dumbest Republican candidate in the 2016 election? Anyway, how about something more serious, like signaling to racists? Senate Majority Leader Trent Lott made these comments at an event celebrating Senator Strom Thurmond. He's Strom Thurmond. Anyway, he was celebrating his 100th birthday.
When Strom Thurmond ran for president, we voted for him. We're proud of it. And if the rest of the country had followed our lead, we wouldn't have had all these problems over all these years either.
If you're listening to the podcast version of this show, I highly, highly recommend you find a way to watch the video version of this show because that was incredible. That might seem like a nice thing to say at a dinosaur fossil's birthday party, except for one, oh man, that is harsh. Except for one thing. Thurmond was a racist dinosaur fossil and ran for president in 1948 as a segregationist. Lott resigned his leadership position for that statement. But Trump has made far less veiled racist statements during his time in the public eye. In fact, Trump has a long record of racist comments that are way more explicit.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists. Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States. You also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
Of course, Trump was referring to the white nationalists who were marching in Charlottesville, Virginia, and chanting things like, "The Jews will not replace us." He believes that there are some fine people on that side. Nowadays, vast swaths of the electorate seem to have no problem with a president who makes racist comments. They offer excuses like, that's just how he is, or he's not afraid to speak his mind. And if that's the case, maybe Joe Biden is the man for the moment. Just listen to what he said back in 2008.
In Delaware, the largest growth in population is Indian Americans moving from India. You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
Oh my God. That's not nearly as mean-spirited as Trump, but still very cringy. We don't have time to play the clip in which Biden tells a man in a wheelchair to stand up, but we do have time to thank you for watching or listening. Oh, you know you want to see more videos like this. Just subscribe to the channel below. And don't forget to become a TYT member and download the TYT Plus app on your phone. Head over to tyt.com/join today.